Well, happy Sunday, everybody. It's so great to be back on Logic Live. It's been a minute since I've done one of these, and so I just want to set expectations very low. Not for our guest. Sinan is brilliant, and he's a genius, and he's going to blow you away. But Jeff, I think I forgot more than I remembered about putting together a Logic Live. So anything is possible. I think that's part of the fun of a live show. I see David Kreitz. I see Michael Landon, Mark Wellington. The aforementioned Jeff Kyle is in the house, as we like to say. And Mark, I said Mark. Patrick has joined the chat. Hello, Patrick. I am so excited about this show and just happy to have Sinan back. I'll tell you, any excuse to spend time with Sinan Vural is, you need no excuse. But he's one of my favorite people. Hello, George. Logic Live 148 is ready to go, friends. Here we are. And hey, Jeff, check out this dissolve. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Andy, and welcome to Logic Live number 148. John Ag is in the house, and we are going to go to our slideshow right now, an abbreviated slideshow, so we can get rocking and rolling with the show. And the last 3 shows I hosted, the slideshow crashed. So here we go. Fingers crossed, everybody. Save your desktops before rendering. Here we go. Oh, my gosh. Last week, I had the pleasure of heading down to Dallas for the Dallas Flame user group meeting. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun. I want to thank Brian Bailey for putting that together, and the folks from Synesys who do everything that they can to kind of organize all this. We had an event at a space called AMS Pictures, which is a production studio, and they had a virtual production wall. Stefan and Francis from Autodesk gave a presentation. I did one. Brian Bailey did a great one on it was like a PowerPoint kind of analyzing the state of essentially ML Roto and ML matting, and he kind of compared and contrasted all the different offerings that were out there. I had an amazing opportunity to see one of my favorite people on earth, a guy who brings the love, I think, better than anyone else, and that's flame artist John Fegan. And he was wearing like a classic shirt. That's just what he does whenever the camera is on him. But we had a great time, a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. And yeah, this place, this facility was so amazing. This was like the lobby. I felt like I was in a theme park or, like in Las Vegas somewhere. It was great. So I again, thanks to everybody at AMS Pictures. Thank you, Synesys. Thank you, Boris Effects and Unity were the sponsors. And of course, our good friend Brian Bailey for putting all that together. Speaking of getting together and having fun, IBC 2025 is September 12th through the 15th in beautiful Amsterdam. We're starting to put together a schedule of Logic events. I'm very excited about this. We had a great time last year. I'm very excited to go back and to see all of our friends who are over on the continent, as they call it. And look at that, Jeff. So I put a poll up on the forum. You'll see it pinned at the top just to try to gauge how many people think they might be going. It's really important, when doing the planning and approaching sponsors and things like that, just to make sure we have everything lined up. So if you have a minute and you think you might be able to head over to Amsterdam and hang out with some of your favorite flame artists, please go over to the forum and fill that out. And so, speaking of amazing things, our good friends at Autodesk and our good friend Jeff Kyle have put together all kinds of new video content on the Flame Learning channel. So definitely go and check out all the offerings there. And that would be at youtube.com/@Autodesk_Flame, which rolls right off the tongue. Or you can search for Flame Learning Channel. And just want to let everybody know that Flame 2026.0.1 and 2025.2.3 have been released. If memory serves, one of the things that was included in this, as well as like some bug fixes, is we finally have, I guess, like the native ability to do tracking, point tracking and planar tracking in both linear and log. And so you will not have to convert your log to your linear to log in order to do any tracking. Thank you to the dev team. I believe that was a long-standing Flame feedback request that they implemented. And so thank you to everybody who upvoted that, and thank you to everybody on the dev team for making that possible. All right, we're not going to press our luck. The slideshow didn't crash. And I would like to welcome to Logic Live, welcome back to Logic Live, actually, your friend and mine, I think the hardest working man in show business. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him, coming to us live from beautiful and I believe always sunny Oslo, Norway, is our friend Sinan Vural. Hello, Sinan. How are
Hi
you?
guys. Hello. I'm good. How's
Welcome back.
everyone?
Welcome back. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to derail. I know I just introduced you, but I have something very important to announce that I forgot to put in the slideshow, and that is today is Michael Landon's birthday, and he is
Woohoo!
in the chat. I see him in the chat, and so I just want to say happy birthday, Michael. Yep, we love you, man. You are one of the most active people on, especially Discord. You're
Yeah.
available day or night to help out with questions. And so, Logic as a community is more fun and more vibrant because of people like Michael Landon. And so, happy, here he is. Oh, wait, I can add this. There he is right there, right? You're welcome, Michael Landon, and happy 27th birthday. All right, let's get back to the show. Uh, Where were we? Oh, Sinan, welcome back to Logic Live. How
Hello.
have you been?
I'm okay. I'm counting the days before summer vacation here in Norway because the whole of July is vacation time and I'll be flying back home to Turkey on Saturday in
Oh,
six,
wonderful.
6 days. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for carving out some time for us here on the old
Yeah,
Logic
always.
Live as you prepare to go back. I was working with somebody a few weeks ago, and they asked me, hey, would it be possible to do a Logic Live on extended Bicubics? And I was like, not only is it possible, I know the perfect person. And I reached out to Sinan, and of course he responded and said absolutely yes. And then this morning, he sent me a message and said, "Hey, this is Logic Live 148." He sent me a message
Yes.
saying, "What's 148 divided by two?" You know? And I got my abacus out and I asked ChatGPT, and it gave me the wrong answer. But I said the answer is 74, and he's like, "Why don't you look at what Logic Live 74 was?" And Logic Live 74 was extended by cubics with Brian Bailey. And so that just meant this was perfect, the perfect time to do this because numerology and everything. It was meant to be. And Brian, if you're watching, you're lined up for Logic Live
We love you, man.
222. Okay, we love you, and I already know we're doing an extended by Cubic for Logic Live 222. Um, but you're here, and what have you got prepared for us today, Sanan?
Well, I mean, Brian Bailey did go over all what UVs are in extended bicubics, so I will be using them, but not going over all the technical details.
Hmm.
If you want to see what UVs actually correspond to in Flame, um, he gives like a really good introduction there. So I won't be doing that again, but I'm going to show some at least unshown examples that Brian Bailey didn't touch on. So some fine control on extended bicubics like vertex manipulation, some simple stuff, um, UV tracking, and vertex tracking. How does shape channel versus what's the other one? Shape channel
Oh,
versus
I guess like shape, explicit
shape
keyframes or something.
animation. Yeah, yeah, whatever that
Okay.
is. I'm going to show those
Hmm.
and a very simple morph workflow.
Love it.
Let's see.
All right. I'm going to bring up Sinan's flame. And as always, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the chat. And I will
Yes.
do my best to keep track of all that. Take it away, Sinan.
So, yeah, okay. So as we all know, extended bicubics are one of the surface types where we change here, extended bicubics. So if we go and subdivide it, we can subdivide to our heart's content. I just want to show some stuff here, like if we take just a sec. If we take one vertex and pull it over, and then do a subdivide, you can see all the other vertices are sort of softened along those lines, but it doesn't go back, so be careful. Um, let's reset this vertices and this one. So what happens if we subdivide further and further and further? Luckily, Flame can handle a lot of subdivisions. And there is
I'll
this,
take how to make your flame crash for $300, please.
yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm going one back just in case I don't know what I'm doing. But one less used feature of extended Bicubics is you can use the magnet tool, which is here. And this one actually comes, where is the, because I don't know the place in the menu, but I turn, yeah, there it is. So Shift M, if you're like normal select mode, you do Shift M, you come up with this circular. It's actually a volumetric selector. I'm going to show that as well. But if you want to adjust the size of it, just like you do on the paintbrush in the paint node, you press Alt M on the flame hotkeys and you scrub and adjust the size of it. So what this gives you is it's like um, this magnet tool is now in translate mode. So I'm going to turn off the icons, turn off, and then we can move these vertices back on, Alt M, size, and so the blue vertices are shown while you are scrolling over the image, hovering over the image. So this is basically what the desktop paint warp does, I think. But apart from that, we also have this envelope here where we can adjust the shape of this modifier. So I adjusted it to look more like a spike, and that gives us this more spiky modification. Also, if we make it rounder and make it larger, then the modifier acts as more like a Gaussian, let's say Gaussian effective shape.
I'm
It
so glad you're
also,
showing this because the magnet tool or the magnet brush or cursor mode or whatever is something I consistently forget about.
I know,
You know,
I know.
and I end up
It's
moving individual control points as opposed to weighted ones and things like that. It's really good that you're showing this.
yeah. Um, Turn the icons off again. We also can do rotation. It's not very intuitive, I'll give you that. But I mean, you can do some sort of weird shit with this, right?
It's not a
Like
bug; it's a feature, is what we're saying.
it's yeah, it's a sort of a misfeature. I don't know, and
Hmm.
also works with scale. But the good thing is, if you scroll this image, it's going to do that thing like all on its own.
Sweet.
One other thing I want to show here: if we rotate the camera and then go into magnet mode again, so now you can see that when I move my cursor over the image, it's actually a volumetric circle that's selecting the vertices. It's like a control area. So it doesn't make actually it very useful. I'll give you that, but um, you can use that to warp it in weird shapes. It is like I don't know why we would use it, but it's there. I mean, I have used it like maybe once or twice, but with extremely like small magnets.
Hmm.
So if I want to like I don't know, maybe just take this bit. Hello. Okay. I need to. Apparently, if you don't reset your camera, it works really weird. So there you go. Is it useful? I don't know. It's just for you to know.
Oh, I think it's great. Again, there are a million times where like I'll start out with an extended bicubic that's not very subdivided, especially when I'm doing like either beauty work or even like what you have here, like a piece of fabric. And the more
Yep.
I subdivide it, the more individual points I end up having to move. And
Yep.
so this is great. This is a great reminder. Love it.
Okay. Um, On to the next item. You know that we can use it to like um, work stuff. But here I use, I mean, for this commercial, I had a series of images with quick cuts that I need to touch on. I could do like a paint, but sometimes light changes or the focus changes. So I wanted to do like pull these together or pull this uh, line out and pick this, like clean this part in. So what I did here is, um, now, now is the time to show what the points resets do, I think. So what I did here is, it was actually a smaller area that I wanted to expand, right? We're looking at the object view. So if I reset the vertices, hello, yes, reset shape. Oh, that's no good. That's because it's not okay. So when the UVs are selected over here, if I reset the shape, it's resetting everything. If I reset points, it doesn't do it. Okay, sorry, but
All
what
good.
I need UVs to vertices. So this is what I actually did, right? So let's do it from scratch, maybe. Hide. Okay. This is supposed to be an extended bicubic. I select all of the vertices. I go to the vertices tab. I click on auto adjust because I'm going to use the transformation position rotation scale over here. Um, isn't this doing it? That's weird. This is actually really weird. Okay, magnet was on. Sorry. Okay. So,
This is why
um,
I don't use that magnet tool.
yeah, it stays on. So we select move UVs and vertices together, so they are modified in the same way. And I am scaling both the object and the UVs. If I turn auto adjust off, it's going to scale just the position of the um, control points, the UVs, but the tangents are going to stay the same. So it's going to warp the image in this weird way. I don't want to do that. I turn on auto adjust, moving UVs and vertices and scaling it down. Now I can move it to the area that I want to focus on. Okay, I want to show another interesting thing here. When I Now I want to scale it a little bit more down, right? Now I want to cover this area, right? But if I scale it only on the X, the left hand side is so the pivot of the scale is somewhere weird, and it is show center. It is here, and we can actually pull this pivot point to wherever we like, and then when we do a scale, it's going to scale or rotate around that point. There is no like individual X, Y, Z positions for this, so it's just um, uh, manual placement. But when you need it, it's there for you. So again, if I scale it up, it's going to scale around this pivot point. I'm scaling down. I want this part maybe a little to the left. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the move or select mode. Remember, my UVs are there as well. So this is the area that we're looking at, right? I just select the right hand side points and I just pull them over. So I'm getting this area to stretch over this area. This is this is why I usually use this show center button and move it around, because if I don't, then if it's in the center of the frame, when you scale or rotate it, all these vertices are going to rotate or scale around the origin point.
Hmm.
What I did here was I used this bit and scaled it over. Then I added another one and I masked it. So from there to there, it's just pulling this patch to the right and pulling this patch upwards, and I mask the bottom part so it doesn't affect the main piece. Also on the left hand side here, I position the original image like this, and I'm letting the UVs in their initial position. I just pull down on the vertices to pull them together to get rid of this dark area where there shouldn't actually be one.
Cool.
And there it go. Okay, moving on.
Actually, Sinan, before you move on,
Yes, yes, questions.
Darina had a question in the chat,
Yeah.
and the question was, let me just bring that up. The question was, oh yes, this has happened to me a million times. When needing to reset a particular area of an extended bicubic, like if you have it subdivided, is there a certain way to reset like just the points that you've selected? Or if you hit reset points or reset shape, I think I've seen this happen. It kind of resets the whole shape as opposed to just the
Um,
ones you've selected.
yeah, I
Is there a
mean,
solution to that?
it recently happened to us, right?
Hmm.
Couple of minutes ago, if you remember. So uh, we move them like here, let's say, and then we want to reset only these points, let's say. Is that the question? Probably.
Yeah, I believe it
So
is.
if I reset the shape, it resets everything. If I'm not sure if there is an actual way to do it. If we're in the animated channel, maybe that could do it. No, no. But yeah, there is. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
All right. I will, I will use the special red Logic phone that we have over here, just off camera, and I will ask our friends over at
Discord.
Autodesk headquarters there to see, yes, if they have a solution to this,
Uh,
and
I
then we'll get
really
back
don't
to you,
know. I
Darina.
mean, if anyone from the audience knows, do let us know.
You got it.
Because when that happens, I say, oh shit, and start again. So,
Yeah, me too. All
okay.
right, moving on.
Um, moving on. So here I have two images, one apple and an apple juice, Logic 25. So the client asks if we can morph from the apple to this glorious apple juice with individual apples in it. Yes. So the way to go about this, I did this three times separately, just in case I mock up everything, but I'm going to do it from scratch. After all, this is a live show, right?
Most
So,
definitely.
yes. So here we are. I have successfully masked the apple and the apple bottle. Where do I not see the reflector? Oh, there now. Okay. Um, so, morphing is basically distorting one object into the shape of the other. A morphs into the shape of B, and at the same time, we shape the last image of the bottle to the shape of an apple. And we do a shape and transparency transition between them. So we create an extended bicubic, and I will try to verbalize or verbose what I'm doing. Again, with the auto adjust selected and move UVs selected, I'm scaling down the shape so it covers basically the whole apple. And then a little up and a little down, and then subdivide it so I have control over the edges. I have still the auto adjust is still on because it then gives me this sort of a rounding, which I of course need to correct, but it's not bad. If I turn it off, then this is what happens. So I
Gotcha.
think it's good to work sometimes with the auto adjust on. Sometimes it doesn't uh, work better. And then we subdivide again. Let's make it so that these. I will zoom in because my extra ultra wide monitor can be harder to see. There.
This is an audience who loves to look at every button, right? And
Yes, I
everything.
know.
So
I
thank
know.
you for doing that.
So we got the shape of the apple, right? And now we're going to do the same thing for our bottle. Continuum. This is an extended by cubic. Select all of them. Move UV vertex. We're still on. Auto adjust. Scale. Nope. Move UV vertex are on. That's interesting. Again, move UV vertex. Okay, so it needed a push. And then we subdivide it. Auto adjust. I'm still in move UV vertex. I will pull these up. Sometimes I like to work with, because this is a symmetrical object, I like to work with numeric values. So they are both the same on both sides. Guide wider, yep. And then take this one down, take this one down. Now subdivide again. These guys have to be, yeah, this part is a better place to be, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Jeff, we never thought about branching into like branded beverages. Every time we've talked about stuff for the merch store, so it's just something to think about.
So I'm trying to get the shape more or less in a place that I can. That will make sense actually when we do the morph. Okay, I'm content with this. This is pretty okay. But thing is, I'm going to do this morph over 25 frames. Thing is, this guy needs to morph into this one, or the shapes should be exactly the same, right? Now, at the moment, I am both of them in shape channel mode. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. Now, we want to match these two shapes together. But to do that, they both need to be off the shape channel mode and individual vertices mode, so I can copy and paste their keyframes to one another. So in case everything goes south, I duplicate these guys, hide them, and now I'm going to turn these off into the individual mode. This will allow me to control every single vertex by animating the selection. Otherwise, if it was just a shape channel, you can animate them, but you won't be able to see them in the um, in
In the
the
animation curves,
in
yeah.
the animation. Yes.
Yeah.
So surface one, surface two. We're looking at surface one, which is shape. Okay, this is looking at the wrong thing. I need to be looking at this one. Yes.
I agree with what Jeff put in the chat there. It's good to see the morph process so thoroughly explained. There's there's a button, there's a tool, but sometimes the morph
Yeah, you want
tool doesn't work.
visual,
You need more
like
granular control or something.
granular control,
Yeah.
right?
Logic
Okay,
25.
I think I'm coming a little late. Um, so we need to go into its animation channel to see it. You know what? I'm going to delete these because it's with the new animation channel. I don't always see what I want to look at, right?
Hmm.
That's my biggest gripe about.
I hear you. Sometimes that
To,
happens to me
yes,
where, especially when I
yes,
get into that very safe selection of. Oh, that's the thing. You know what? The chat is helping out, Sanan. It's
yes.
probably the filtering is probably set to only show animated or animated and selected,
That was the
and
thing.
and
Yes,
these don't have. Yeah, there you go.
yes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mark,
Yeah.
and thank you, John,
So now
and thank you,
we
Patrick.
have we can see individual position channels for each vertex. Otherwise, if the shape channel was active, which we're going to go back to, we wouldn't have that individual control. So now what we're going to do is we have to create keys for this apple. Move UV vertices. I'm just going to create a key. Well, it creates a key on every single vertex. And for the bottle, I'm going to create keys on the 25th frame, on the last frame. So now if I go to the animation channel of this surface, let's call it, let's name it apple and the bottle. So hopefully in the animation channel of the apple, all the vertices, I will make them linear, and I will, just in case, do a simple move so everything gets one keyframe, right? Okay, now we have a lot of keyframes, that's good. And I will go to the 25th frame, select the bottle object and move it slightly so all of the um, all of the vertices get an keyframe, but this one mocked up. There you go. Okay. So the apple has keys on the first keyframe, and the bottle has them on the last keyframe. I'm going to the first key, selecting the surface, and I am doing a control select of everything on the first frame. I will copy them. I will select the bottle, still on the first frame, with the bottle selected, with the vertices selected. I'm going to paste. And this fucked up everything. Sorry, mucked up everything. Yes, it's a live show.
It's a live
It's
show.
because I think it's because auto adjust was still on. We're
Uh
going to
huh.
try and paste. No, we're going to try again.
Everyone,
I,
please remember
I
this
didn't
though.
Hmm?
I was just going to say, we're all at some point we're going to have a client who's going to be like, could it possibly morph into a 11-dimensional fold of itself? And you're like,
Yeah.
hey, Logic Live 148. I can go back and refer.
Okay. Right. I now sincerely wish that I hadn't deleted all those other actions. Do you think we can get back there?
It's possible.
Yes. There we go. It was a long shot, but here we are.
All right.
Okay. I think they were these. Yes. Damn, man. We don't have time to do it again, right? No.
We
Okay.
do, if you want to. There we go.
But the thing is, I wish it worked. um, we will do it, right? We will do it. I will hide these. I will unhide these, and I will in the Apple delete these keys, and in the bottle delete these keys. So this is where we left off.
Hmm.
So I select the vertices of the apple. Will come now. Okay. The
Hmm.
apple is selected. This one is like halfway. We are still not in the shape channel mode. We're in the control vertices mode. We go. We select all the. Maybe I should like open all the vertices, right?
Yeah, I think our
Um,
friend Patrick
yeah.
might have stumbled on it that
Yeah.
it might not have all been selected
Yeah.
when you hit
Okay.
copy.
So copy this, all the keyframes, and select the bottom, select the vertices, and paste, and paste. Can't paste. Again, copy,
Copy.
vertices, paste. No, interesting.
Well,
Select everything. I was so prepared for this.
it's a live show, Sinan.
I know. I've been there.
It's a live show.
Interesting. Okay, so the the idea here
Hmm.
is that the when you copy the first keyframe of the apple to the first keyframe of the bottle, then the bottle's first keyframe is going to be this weird shaped bottle, which is shaped like an apple.
Uh huh.
And here we are.
I like it.
Basically, it's
Done.
doing this, right?
Yeah.
And the apple is doing this.
Hmm.
Uh, After we do the copy, yes, question?
No, no, no. Yeah, I was narrating along with you. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the trick should have been, used to be, copy the vertex animations from the first frame of the apple to the bottle and last frame of the bottle to the apple,
Hmm.
and that would morph the shapes of both to each other. And then duplicating them again and then taking their shape channels back to shape, which will allow us to individually animate the curve of the animation. So
Totally.
this is the bottle going from apple shape to itself.
Hmm.
It should be transparent on the first frame, and the apple should be transparent on the last frame. This is um, the way to do it. And In the fine details of doing a morph, you actually want to change the shape faster, so the apple gets into the shape of the bottle faster, but
Yeah.
then do the transparency transition later.
Right. Like the magic of the morph is the changing shape, you know?
Yeah,
So yeah, always kind of like lean in on having that
yeah.
effect
So
more
you want to,
visible.
yeah, you want to show the shape changing and then do
Hmm.
the texture transformation.
The chat has a couple of suggestions about the keyframes. It might have been that the keyframes weren't actually selected before you hit copy. If we want to
Or
give it,
maybe there weren't enough keyframes. I don't know actually. I really don't know why it didn't
let's
work.
see.
Let's try again.
And yes, our friend Tim Farrell was. We agree with you, Tim. It drives him nuts that you can't use Control C and Control V in this instance. You have to use the copy button and the paste button there
Yes.
in the animation curve.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Mundo. Smart.
Not to distract from anything, but I blame smoke hotkeys for that. But anyway,
Right. If that had worked, we would have a working morph.
yeah. We could also be at the point in the in Flame's behavior that it needs to quit and come back in. But let's just keep moving ahead. I think what
It
we're
could
able
be.
to
I
show
mean,
was the effect.
I tried it twice with two different actions. It worked.
Yeah.
Now it didn't. So I don't know.
Yep.
So on to another application of extended bicubics is I just want to show this. Maybe I should throw that away and keep it here.
Actually,
So
before you go on, our friend Nick
yeah,
Smith had a comment. He was just
right.
saying that this is a very cool use of bicubics, and he was saying his question is this your preferred way to morph as opposed to using like the morph node or the morph tool? And maybe this is just a good way to a segue as to maybe explaining the pros and cons of doing a what is really like an old school manual morph technique versus what are some of the use cases where this would be a preferred way to go?
I mean, there is the distort node if you want to use it. Are you
Hmm.
sure you want to use it? Because distort node was the actual spline based morpher, if
Yeah.
you remember, which
Hmm.
is I've used it like last time was probably 2 years ago.
Hmm.
I've been asking for a open spline or open spline mode in action with extended bicubics or whatnot, but the distort mode is the old-fashioned spline-based morph tool, which is sort of buggy. If you mock up like I did here, you have to start again
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. So my way of doing that was I used like open splines to warp the image, but instead of doing the actual morph within the distort module, I would render out warped UVs and then use those UVs in action as UV maps to distort the actual images.
Hmm.
The distort mode is like an implementation of elastic reality from back in the day,
In the
which
day.
was which was the de facto, which was a really nice program by the way. I loved it.
Hmm.
So that's open spline approach. If you remember, we used to have like um, a rectangular
Oh,
way of
that was on the
doing the
desktop
mouse.
called the Warper.
Yes, that was it.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
it's obsolete now. So,
I think I looked for a YouTube video on it, but that feature came out before YouTube, so that's how old it was.
but for the
Nice.
morph node, I haven't used the morph node for anything. It's
Hmm.
machine learning, and it's not like I haven't actually used it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I've used it
I,
sparingly, but
I
I
mean,
think maybe a use case for what you showed, Sinan, versus using like the morph tool is if it's something it hasn't been trained on, or I've also had instances where like I guess it would be point A and point B, or the start and the end were so dramatically different that
Mhm.
whatever the algorithm is, it's doing its best to try to approximate, but you need a little bit of artist intervention there to,
Yeah, I mean, the morph tool, in my
yeah.
opinion, has been developed to create sort of in between frames, sort of to do like Tim, to replicate Tim's excellent
Hmm.
time warp thing.
Yep.
It works great for similar images, but if you want to do like this radical change from an apple to a person's face, let's say, you want to have more granular control.
Hmm. Totally.
This is one application of the extended bicubics. I mean, it's
Hmm.
in no way showing the correct way to do a morph.
Let's do. Oh well, thank you very much, Nick. Let me remove that. Very cool. Thanks. There you go. I'm going to turn the screen back over to Sinan, and let's take a look at your next example.
Okay. Here I have a very thin object as a surface, but did a I used an extended bicubic to make this into sort of a ribbon, right? So if we want to do it from scratch, back, turn. This is an extended bicubic, and I subdivide it once, and then looking from the top view, I'm going to select and move the center vertices away from the camera, and maybe do something like this. So this is me looking at the extended bicubic from the top, right? And from the front, it doesn't make much sense, but again, from the top, if I move these guys down, and then these guys up a little. And since the camera is over here, I mean, this is like a very simple way of doing like a label animation, if you get my drifts.
Hmm.
I have isolated and a nice piece of our um, label.
Logic 25 apple juice.
Yes. And I'm going to add it to this distorted, um, oh, yes, because it was auto key on and auto key off. Okay, let's do together. That should do it for us. And I'm going to add this label as a diffuse map. So when I move the position of the diffuse map, it is like a beautiful label going around in the
I love it.
screen. There are of course problems with I mean, you can add like a displacement map to this surface to make it wave. You can I don't know, shade it. The
Hmm.
only problem is the front and the back is going to be shaded, so the back is going to be inverted. That's my
Hmm.
biggest gripe. But if you adjust it to your liking, then there's no reason that you don't get like a ribbon flying around.
That's great. Love it.
Any questions about this?
No, I mean, just the chat loves it.
Okay, cool. I love the chat. Um, I
Yeah, it's a good
hope
way to
I
think
don't.
about if you have to animate something along a path. Maybe that's a good way to also. That's the way I like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
think about it. You
Yes,
know.
that's the thing. Yes, if you need to like animate a button label, I don't know, a
Hmm.
flag, something like that along a path. Yes, this is the way. If you wanted to bend with the path, because there's also the 3D path option in action, which moves the object's axis but doesn't deform it.
Hmm. Sweet.
And let's say we have this lady adoring its bed linen, and the client has some ideas about this left-hand side sheet, let's say.
I know whenever I'm going to see if my blankets are dry, I always hold a bunch of flowers just to kind of put me in the right frame of mind. So
So again, we get this as an extended bicubic. We are going to move UVs and vertices, and when I go to the vertices, I am going to turn on auto adjust on and the auto key on because I'm going to be animating them further down the road. So I get the corners of the extended Bicubic more or less on the corners of the sheet, and I want to subdivide this to four quadrants, no, 4 by 4 squares or rectangles, and I'm going to track the UVs. But it's not going to track. I know because I tried it. I'm going to select all of these points and I'm going to say I want to track each point, not a position rotation scale, nothing like that, but each point, and I'm going to go into the tracker and I'm just going to hit analyze. The left hand side isn't going to, the right hand side of the sheet isn't going to track, I know, but I'm going to go back and fix that. So I can see that I get a good track actually in the middle of the sheet, right? So I want to reset the track and nothing else. Um, Go into move UV and vertex mode again. And now I'm going to hopefully show center, get the center to the center of the vertices and scale them down, move them up because the top part was fairly okay, and scale them down a little bit more on the X, move them to the left. Again, I'm going to go to the UVs and I am going to track the UVs. That's why I go to the UV points tab and not the vertices tab. So I'm going to track the UVs. I go to the UVs tab and here I go to each point tracker. Let's see if we can track these. Okay, this
that was
is my,
great, Sinan. That was really
yeah,
great. I know when I first saw this, I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna have to go into each individual tracker that is like not working and offset its reference and pick some other point of the sheet. But this is a perfect solution for that.
yeah. Um, and the thing is, we tracked the UV points, but we didn't touch the vertices.
Hmm.
So ideally, when we scrub through now, the vertices should actually sit there and the image should be static.
Hmm. Cool.
Now, yes, now if I, but what if I want to cover all of the points now? If I move UVs and vertices and move them all together, to cover the entire sheet. Let's see what happened to the, oh, see, since we,
You clever so and so.
because we move them together, we move UVs and vertices, and we didn't
Yeah.
touch the track, now the sheet is static in one place.
Hmm.
And we can use this to do whatever we want, maybe paint on the edges, like I did here. And then now what we need to do is move this back into the action, right? Because this is stabilized image now, at the edges at least. And if we duplicate this action and feed the painted version into our object, apply. But we might need to do something else because now I think we need to reset our UV trackers, right? Because we don't want them anymore. Let's make sure. Yes, it is doubly stabilizing. So we just go ahead
Mo-
and
Most good bed sheets are.
reset track on the UV points. I'm on the UV points and I'm resetting the track. And oh no!
So close.
Yeah, we were so
Don't be
close.
distracted by the flowers, Sinan. You got this.
So what we did was,
There we go.
how did that work? Because I undid my delete thing.
Hmm.
Okay, I think I remember now. So what we need to do is we need to copy the UV animation to
Yes,
vertices.
to the vertices. That Brian Bailey just put that in the chat.
Yes. And then we need to, I think, reset the track on the UV points. Yes, there we go.
Hmm.
Thank you, Ryan. You did this before, man. Whew. Apart from several snags on copying the animation, I think it went well.
Awesome. Thank you, Sinan. Thank you. I wanted to compare I'll compare notes here with Tim, but let me share my screen real quick, which I don't think I've ever done live. That's
Oh,
well, that's the beer and soda can thing I just printed. Let's go to Flame. There we go. To answer Darina's question about if you have certain points that you want to reset, right? So I have this artfully subdivided and moved, extended Bicubic here. And if I want to reset like just these 2 points, I can go down here to the reset and do reset points, and that'll reset
right,
just the selected points.
right, right.
Um,
Reset points. Yes,
yeah,
not the shape, but reset point. That would
yeah.
reset
Reset shape
select.
will do the whole thing. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Reset points. I hope that matched with what our friend Tim had. Doreena's saying thank you, Sinan, and I'm going to go back to the me and Sinan split here. All right. Well, thank you, my friend. I
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you.
And
I hope.
when I see you in Amsterdam, I'm buying you a glass of apple juice, and we will promptly just pour it right into the canal. That's it. And then we will throw out the glass. And no, thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, always
Absolutely
a pleasure.
appreciate you, Sinan. You're again just like I said about Michael when I was talking about his birthday. You are also one of the most active people on Discord. Always
Yeah,
ready to
drop by
answer a
anytime.
question, and
Yes.
it's wonderful. So yeah, the chat is going. Um, Great stuff, Sinan. Great stuff, Sinan. And love it. Thank you, Sinan. Great stuff. This is wonderful. So I'm going to um, say thank you again, and we will see you. I'm going to give away a couple of prizes, wrap up the show. We'll see you over in the
Yep.
patrons chat in a couple of minutes. And thank you for being you, my friend. I really appreciate you.
See you.
All right, let's test this theory, Jeff, and we'll go to prize time. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm not centered. Wait a minute. There we go. All right. I have 2 prizes to give away today. I have 1 month of Logic Academy Pro, and then I have 1 month of the Boris FX Suite. So we'll start with Logic Academy Pro. Let me shuffle this up. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong screen, Jeff. Hold on. There we go. I will shuffle this up. And spin the big wheel. All right, it'll be right over here. Will be the winner. Steve Koenig. Congratulations, Brother K. And wow, I don't even want to know what this is in terms of an ad. So I'm just gonna shuffle that up. And this is for the Boris Effects Suite. Whew. XL Fears. Nick Smith. Congratulations, Nick. All right. Wonderful. Let's go back to our slideshow. And we have some very exciting things to, there it is, slideshow, to talk about coming up on future Logic Lives. I'm actually very, very, very excited to make this announcement that on, wait a minute, here it is. Yes, in just 2 weeks, on Sunday, July 6th, Render Dome is back. We're going to do a Render Dome featuring flame artist Britt Campa and Andy Dill, who, as you remember, has been on Render Dome before, defeated me soundly, I believe, in Render Dome 1, and returned to Render Dome 2. Andy Dill will make his third trip back into the Dome to go up head-to-head against Britt Campa, and that should be Brian Fox from Boris Effects will be absolutely technical directing again, and I don't know what's going to happen other than it's going to be an amazing time. So tune in for that. And then on Sunday, July 20th, we're going to have, speaking of Boris Effects, our friends on from Boris to show off what's new in Synthesize. I'm trying to get our friend Christoph Zaplatal on to do that, so hopefully that will be working out. And I am actively right now behind the scenes working on trying to get an ML / AI themed Logic Live going. I don't know if you've heard about those terms recently. All the kids are using these things, and I think it would be great to see how people are using them in production. So that's what's coming up on Logic Live. I want to thank all of our patrons on Patreon. We could not do what we do without you all. If you would like to join this esteemed list of patrons, then all you have to do, we're up to what, 150 now, Jeff? 150 patrons who make Logic possible. Go to patreon.com/LogicTV, and for as little as $5 a month, you can support what we're doing here at Logic and get access to some exclusive content like the conversation we're going to have on Zoom with Sinan right after this. If you haven't signed up for the forum, and who the hell hasn't, but if you know somebody who hasn't, please go to forum.logic.tv. It's where all the conversation is happening. And while you're there, if you think you might be able to make it to IBC, please fill out the poll. And be sure to join the conversation on Discord. Like I said, so many of our friends here are very active on Discord and are answering questions day and night. So thank you for that. Be sure to like and subscribe the Logic channel on YouTube rather. We're over the 2,500 mark, and that is growing. And while you're there, hey, I'm just saying Christmas is right around the corner. In a blink of an eye, Jeff, you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, I haven't gotten that flame artist in my life. Some Logic themed and Logic branded merch. So check out the merch store for all of our Logic stuff, so that the flame artists in your life can look their best while they make their best. And if you need anything in the way of plugins from our friends at Boris Effects, you can save 15% with any of our affiliate links, which are available at logic.tv/Boris Effects. Please do take advantage of those wonderful discounts. And that's going to do it for Logic Live number 148. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much, Sinan. And my friends, as we like to say here on Logic, we will see you next time. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Stay cool out there. All right, my friends?